He's not just a News Nation anchor. Leland Vittert, who grew up on the autism spectrum and went on to become a national journalist, now shares about that once very private journey in his memoir, Born Lucky. We sat down to chat about the new book and why he hopes there are lessons in his story far beyond autism. Good morning, Leland, and I'm so excited to talk to you about your book. Your parents never told anyone about your autism diagnosis, and now you've written this book. Why now?
Teresa, it's a great question, and you're right. My parents, from when I was 5, and they took me to that little psychology testing center, somebody said that we need to evaluate Lucky. They never told anyone. My parents didn't want me to be defined by the diagnosis, and this is really a message, the book Born Lucky, for every parent of every kid who's struggling, every grandparent, every aunt and uncle, whether it's autism, ADHD, anxiety, bullying at school, trouble fitting in. It is a message of hope that parents can make an enormous difference. And my parents, when that psychologist said, you know, there's generally not much you can do, we just really don't understand what's going on inside Lucky's head, they felt hopeless. And this is proof for so many parents that there really is hope.
Tell us about the dedication in your book.
Yeah. Dedicated it to my father, who was for a long time my only friend, now still is my best friend. And you think about what he did after I was 5, you know, quit his job. He realized that I was repellent to other kids. You know, some people like you, Teresa, are magnetic and attract friends. I was repellent. And he decided he was going to be my friend. So that meant being home every day when I got home from school. It was, you know, I think about when I was in art class in 8th grade, the art teacher, none of us were going to be Picasso, but he didn't like one of my paintings. And he said to me, if my dog was as ugly as you, in front of the entire class, if my dog was as ugly as you, I'd shave its rear end and make it walk backwards. And I can see your jaw drop. That was just one day at school. There were many. But I walked home from school. My dad says, how'd you do? Humiliated, as I was most days. And we'd spend 3 or 4 hours a night. You know, I'd be in my room crying and taking out my frustrations on him. And I didn't know this until we wrote the book, or until I wrote the book. He would come downstairs from my bedroom when it was dark and sit in the living room by himself and sit there and cry himself. And never told anybody. My mom would come out and find him. And then the next morning he'd make me go back to school, right? So this is the lesson of don't take away the adversity for your kids, which so many parents want to do, but hold their hand through it.
And this is such a fine line and a tightrope that your dad was walking. And yeah, my jaw dropped. And thanks for what you said about me. But I really related to a lot of the stories in your book. I was badly bullied, and I'm the parent of 2 teenagers. So I understand exactly what your dad was going through. You're only as happy as your least happy child. And of course, your book isn't just for parents and families dealing with autism, but all kinds of struggles.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's really the story of hope that people take from. This isn't a prescription. It's not a cure. Born Lucky is a parenting book written from the kids. So a lot of folks have asked me, like, what's your advice? Well, I haven't been through this. So buy the book. It's out now on Amazon. But this is the proof of the monumental mountain moving power of parental love, right? And that is so important for parents to keep in mind, that there really is hope. And I think, you know, Teresa, that's what that you took from it as well.
Leland, before I let you go, obviously autism has never been more in the news than it is right now. What are your thoughts on the conversation around autism right now this week?
Look, thank God we're having it, okay? Is it a perfect conversation? Is RFK Jr. the perfect vehicle for this conversation? No. Is medical advice from the podium at the White House probably where people should get nuanced medical thoughts? No. Talk to your doctor. That said, you know how many press conferences Joe Biden had about autism? 0. We've gone from 1 in 1,000 when I was diagnosed to 1 in 31, 3 times as many for boys, higher for boys in minority and poor communities. What's it going to, you know, thank God someone is now talking about this as the scientific question of our time. 40 years ago, HIV was a death sentence. Most cancers were death sentences. That's not true anymore. And we still don't know what causes autism now, 40 years later.
Can you tell us about the Born Lucky special airing on News Nation?
You know, you're nice to ask. You're a journalist. I'm a journalist. always hate being the story. Obviously, with Born Lucky, I am the story. It's not about me. It's about the families who are struggling right now and need that power of hope that my parents just had out of faith. This gives you that hope. But I wanted to have it questioned in a real way. So I asked Bill O'Reilly, I've done a number of book specials with him, to flip the script. So he's going to, on Sunday night, sit down and give this the journalist treatment, and bring out what are the difficulties and also the choke points in this story, which I think anybody who gets the book, watches the special, you'll see two different sides of it.
Leland, thank you so much for your time this morning and for your beautiful book.
Thank you very much.